Hello and welcome back to the MSPC Bros channel, and today we'll be talking about the revolutionary i9-9900K. We will be covering some general, performance, memory, and graphics specs for you guys. We will also give our opinion about the i9-9900K at the end of the video. What are we waiting for? Let's hop into it. As we all know, one of the best processors you can get out there is the i9-9900K. It has been known for its high performance when it comes to gaming. Some main things you should know about the processor is that it has an 8-core, 16-thread setup that will pack a punch in those high FPS games. Intel first started selling these processors during Q4 of 2018, and it started off as a 9th generation processor. It does not come with its own heatsink fan. You have to buy one separately from a different company since Intel does not manufacture them. This alone will add on to its hefty price tag. It can cost you $499.99 plus the taxes that are also added on. Its processor size is 14 nanometers, which is pretty impressive when it comes to these processors, even though Intel's rival, AMD, has already started building its 3rd generation processors on 7 nanometer processors, almost twice as small as Intel's i9-9900K processor. More on that in a future video. To add on to the processor information, its socket type is a confusing FCLGA1151. This can make it harder when shopping for a motherboard that has this specific socket type. That's that for general stuff on the i9-9900K. Time for the performance specs. And now it's time for the in-depth evaluation of Intel's processor. Its base clock speed is 3.5 MHz, which is pretty normal for a regular idling clock speed. Now, for those extreme gamers who want to push the limits of this processor, it can reach an impressive 5 MHz clock speed. Now you can see why everyone is calling it the best gaming processor out there on the market. It also has 16 megabits of Intel Smart Cache. This is relatively important because it can help the PC do repetitive tasks faster, which means you won't lose time when you're trying to look something up on the internet or just trying to get that win in whatever new game you just got for your birthday. Another important thing to keep in mind is that since this is a very powerful processor, I guarantee you that it will take up a lot of energy to make it work. It takes 95 watts of power to get it to run, but it can go even higher if you plan on overclocking it to drain the most amount of juice from it as you can. Well, now it's time to move over to the memory specs. So as you may have noticed, this is a huge upgrade from the i3 or i5 you've had in your PC for the last several years. So there's still a lot more we need to cover. This includes most of the memory specs you will need to know for your next build or upgrade. The memory speed of the i9-9900K is DDR4 2666. This means the recommended type of RAM speed you should buy is a DDR4 2666 RAM stick, preferably from Corsair or G.Skill, since these are the brands I use in my builds and they are pretty reliable from my experience with them. Believe it or not, I'm done with memory specs, which can mean only one thing is left for us to cover: the graphics specs. One of the most important parts of having a PC is to make sure it has good graphics. Otherwise, the monitor you spend a few $100s on just won't work. Luckily for you, we did the hard part, researching what you need to know. For starters, most Intel CPUs have integrated graphics, including the i9-9900K. This can be annoying for first-time builders and even people that built PCs many times over. It adds a bunch of extra steps if you have an NVIDIA or a Radeon graphics card, because you have to turn off Intel's UHD graphics 630 on the processor in the control panel of your Windows 10 device. It's just complicating the process more than it should. This rule does not apply if you just plan on using the integrated graphics and not buying a separate graphics card. It has 4K support, which is the new cool when it comes to how clean or smooth your screen quality is. Unfortunately, it can only run this at 60 FPS, which when it comes to gaming, it might not be the best move if you're looking for a more realistic feel. It can also support a maximum of 3 monitors, which I believe is just the right amount to have the ultimate setup for your gaming life.
That would be all of the things you need to know if you're going to be building using this specific processor, which means it's time for an overview of what our opinion is.
The pros of this monster processor are that it has impressive data when it comes to single and multi-threaded workloads, it has excellent performance when it comes to playing games, and it has 4K support, which is what everyone seems to want nowadays. As with all PC parts, no matter how good they seem to be, they all have their cons. For this particular processor, it includes a huge price, which can be inconvenient to those on a tight budget who want the best performance possible. It has very specific cooling requirements, which can add up to what you need to find, and it has a huge power consumption, which can cause it to heat up very fast when it comes to heavy workloads. And its integrated graphics aren't super impressive. It is the equivalent of buying an NVIDIA GeForce 930M or an AMD Radeon 530. Overall, this is an excellent processor for extreme gamers and people who just want to do heavy loads of video editing. If you were just doing low volume games and minor editing, try sticking with an i5 or an i7 for now. Thanks for watching our video, and we really hope you enjoyed it. Up next, when we hit 100 subscribers, we plan on doing a new type of video that will bring more excitement and enjoyment to this channel. Remember to keep spreading the word, and please subscribe if you haven't yet.